And we are live. What's up, beasties? It's me, it's Triple B, your friendly neighborhood bearded book beast. Welcome back to another episode of Beast Friends Forever. Woo! We have an awesome show tonight. I am pumped. I'm excited to see all of you beasties, but also for my guest tonight, a fantastic author, a great book reviewer, supporter of so many people, and somebody that we just think is awesome. And I've been talking to for a while. I have a lot of their books, and I just think they're fantastic. I'll bring them on because that's who you came here to see, not me. You see me all the time. So let me bring them on right now. I'm talking about the one and only fantastic AJ Calvin.
Thanks. That was a great intro.
Oh, good. You know, I try. It's all true though. You're fantastic. So I'm really glad that you're here. Thanks for coming on.
No, thank you for having me.
I
feel like this has been a process for a long time, and I'm glad we were finally able to make it work.
I know. I agree. Because I feel like it's you were one of the first authors that I just saw your books and your covers and was like, oh my gosh, I need those books, and reached out and asked if I could get some signed copies from you, and that's where it all started. We started chatting, and I'm glad that you're finally coming on here so we can talk. It's going to be fantastic. We got a few awesome people in here already. Let's shout them out. We got J.A. Bryden, the first one here. What's up, man? Thanks for being here. We appreciate you popping in. You might be gone already, so when you watch replay, thanks for being here. Ellen Holmes is here. He did beat you, but thanks for being here, Ellen. We appreciate it. Adam Bassett is here. Oh, yeah, that's
Hi,
right.
I know him.
Adam's awesome. Let's see. That's right. It is going to be epic. That's true. That's pretty cool. We are going to talk about that. And then Senna's here from Library on Legs. What's up, Senna? And Lucas is here. What's up, Mr. Lucas Clay? Thanks for being here. Everybody else that is in the stream, if you haven't commented yet, that's okay. You don't have to. We're just happy to have you here. If you're watching this on replay, we appreciate you as well. And before we get started, AJ's website and books are all in the description down below. So please check those out. Support AJ and help them write more, because that's what we want. So how's the day going today? How's your week going?
This week is definitely better than a couple weeks ago. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I know. We all have some things, work things, life things. It happens. So I'm glad that it's going better than it was. So that's good. I mean, you can't beat getting to hang out and talk about your awesome books with people that love you. So that's pretty awesome. So most of the people in here right now know you. That's why they're here. But for anybody that finds this interview, they might not know you yet. So although I did an okay job introducing you, why don't you just do a quick introduction and tell us what kind of books, what genres you write?
I have currently 11 books published. 10 of those are fantasy, mostly epic fantasy, although I do have one urban fantasy, Hunted, which is a standalone. I don't talk about that book much because it's sort of an anomaly.
Okay.
And then my latest was WRAITH and the Revolution, which is a sci-fi space opera. Cyborgs and stuff.
Heck yeah. So good. I am reading that one right now. Guys, I mean, if you haven't seen this yet, look at this cover. Holy smokes. It's incredible. And the book is incredible too. I am loving it. And this, I got to say, when I got this, for some reason, I was thinking it was like a shorter book or like a long novella. And then I got it out of the box. I'm like, that's pretty chunky. I was excited.
You are not the first person who said they thought it was a novella. And
I don't know why.
I don't know why people thought that, because I've never said that.
You didn't,
because I'm the longest book I've ever written.
I know. I look back and I'm like, why did I think that? This is bigger than any of the other books. So I know, it's so funny. But yeah, I agree with Ellen Holmes. She says you're amazing with all those books out. That is pretty exciting. So let's start with just talking about the different series and books you have and how they're connected. And then we'll talk a little bit about the covers, because I think your covers are all awesome. So let's start I've got these books all around me. I don't have Hunted. Now, I did see that when I was looking at cover images to use for this thumbnail, and I'm like, what is this? So that's an urban fantasy book. That one is.
Yeah, it's a standalone urban fantasy. It was my first published book, and it's, I don't know, it's very different than the rest of my stuff.
Okay.
It features the main character is a demon summoner.
Oh,
so
that sounds pretty fun.
And it's set partly in Seattle.
Okay.
That might be why the cover caught your eye. I had when I do live events, I have a lot of people that are like, "Oh, is this based in Seattle?" And then they just buy it because of the cover, which is really cool.
That is cool. I just thought it looked cool. I'm like, I don't remember ever seeing this on anything when I looked at.
I'm really bad at talking about that book because it's so different than the rest of my stuff, and I feel like I get spread thin marketing if I'm trying to focus on everything.
Right. Well, and the other stuff's so closely related that if someone likes it and they pick up another one, it's going to be that similar vibe, whereas that could be way different. So I get that. I get that. Real quick, we got another couple awesome people in here. The Tims are here. We got Mr. Timothy Wolf. What's up? And Mr. Tim McKay. How's it going, man?
Hi,
Thanks for being here. Tims, the power of two Tims. All right, so we talked about Wraith and the Revolution, which is your most recent book. And then we have Moon's Eye, which is book 1 of the Relics of War. Or is it Moon's Eye the series?
That's the title. The Relics of War is the series.
Okay, got it. That's what I thought. I'm like, wait, did I say it wrong?
Yeah,
and I love this cover too. That scorpion thing is freaking awesome.
Yeah, he's one of the main characters in that series.
So cool.
That one it's a trilogy, but I have 2 related. One's a novella and one's a novel. That, fit into that universe.
Oh yeah, that's Tim's right. This does have some awesome Halo looking vibes to it for sure. And Timothy Wolf just said he finished it an hour ago and it was great. So there you go.
Yay!
And then you have Exile, which I'm really excited to check this one out too.
Yeah, that's my more popular series. And I honestly think that one took off because there's a dragon on the cover and people love dragons.
Oh yeah.
But that's book 1 of my other completed series, which is 4 books.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Very cool. I got it before I go on. I got to say, it's funny. We just talked about this before Tim came in, and then he just said he thought it was a novella, but it ended up being a book. So it's just funny. I don't know why we all thought that, but who knows? So tell us how these are all. Are any of your series connected, and how are they connected?
They're not really. Okay. The Relics of War is it's in its own universe. It has its own, unique people and conflict, and that's more of I say it's more kind of like a classic epic fantasy feel. Okay. You've got multiple points of view and the big epic conflicts and a lot of crazy magic. So yeah, that's kind of its own thing. So it's The Moon's Eye, The Talisman of DeLuca, and War of the Nameless. That's the trilogy. And then Serpentis is a related novel that runs parallel to the trilogy.
Okay.
And then there's a novella that, it's not really a standalone novella. It's sort of a supplement to the series.
I just saw Adam's comment. That's what I thought. But then when he said that, I'm like, what? Somehow you're going to connect those two? How in the world are you going to pull that off? So he got me all on the wrong idea. Thanks a lot, Adam. Good thing this isn't live or anything. No, it's okay, man. I kind of thought, I know you well enough to know now that I thought maybe you were kidding, Adam. But that would have been impressive to tie these together somehow. So what is this one about? Obviously, dragon.
Yeah, so the main character of Exile is Andrew, and he's the one on the cover. He is also the dragon. He's the shifter.
Oh, that's so cool.
And that series is more about, it's a story of like 4 brothers. Andrew's the main character. His brother Alex he's really close to, and then their other brother Colin is a bad dude and is kind of like the villain of a lot of the series.
That's exciting though. I
So
love a little
there's like
family.
all of the sibling dynamics, both good and bad, and rivalry and all that.
Oh, that's cool. Very nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And then your newest one, tell us what Wraith and the Revolution is about.
So Wraith is a story that I worked on forever, like really forever, in some form or another. I was working on bits and pieces of it, like as a teenager, and I kept coming back to some of these themes and some of these characters, and it was 3.5 years ago ish I finally got the outline together to make it work. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can actually write a story with all of these things I've been working on for most of my life.
That's awesome.
But it is a standalone. It starts on a kind of bleak version of future Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Kai's a scavenger. He's the main character. He's sort of stuck there because of a medical condition. And he does end up finding a way off world, but it costs him some of his humanity. He becomes a cyborg and gets caught up in events that are a little bit beyond his control.
So fun. Such a cool idea. I feel like all of your ideas for all your different series, and they're very inventive. Like some things are familiar enough where you like it feels comfortable and like cozy, but then you do some really cool things that are way different that I feel like get me really pumped up to read your stuff. So we'll talk a little bit more about your journey to writing all of these books, and it sounds like this story is going to be a big part of that journey. But first, let's talk about your covers, because I think that all of your covers are awesome. So how did your process go with getting covers, finding your cover artists, and working with them? Did you have certain ideas in mind? Did you go back and forth and you came up with it together? How did you decide on all your different covers?
So the first cover project I did was for the Relics of War series, and that artist was Jamie Noble. He does a lot of artwork for tabletop games, and he's done some stuff for Warhammer, and then he also does book covers. And I found him through Readsy. I was just trying to browse art and artists, and like specifically I was looking for a certain style for that series. And I came across his profile and we started chatting and stuff, and I ended up commissioning him to do the artwork for the trilogy. And the process there, it was very collaborative. Like for the first book, I said, okay, so there's this scene in the book that I have an idea. I don't know if you can make it work. So I kind of walked him through what the scene was, and he's such a good illustrator. Like we were on a Skype call because he's in the UK, and he just starts sketching, and he's like, so what do you think about this? And it was a very rough sketch of what that cover ended up being, and I was just like, yes, let's do that. So it was really cool.
Wow.
And I liked working with him so much. He did the covers for the KN Legacy and Serpentis and Hunted also. The original cover for Hunted was a little bit different, and I found out after doing some more research, and the book had been out for a little bit, that it probably wasn't on brand. So I got new artwork, and Jamie did that one too.
Wow.
Wraith, because it was sci-fi and I was looking for a slightly different look, I went with a different artist for that book, and that was J. Caleb Design. And that was another process that we didn't have a lot of back and forth. I was like, I have this idea. This is the planet. And, he gave me a pretty good idea. We had a couple minor tweaks, and like it was done pretty quick. So yeah, it was fun. I love working with the artists though.
Oh, that's so cool. And yeah, he's J. Kilo Designs has been popping off and doing a lot of different covers. So he did a great job. And but so did your other artists. They all look great. So I think that's cool that you, even though you loved your cover for all your fantasy stuff, you knew you needed something made with a slightly different look. So that's pretty awesome that you went with a different artist and an artist that he does a lot of fantasy stuff too, but that sci-fi, he really captured it. It looks awesome. So well done. I think they're great. JC and Byrne just popped in here. What's up, Joe? Thanks for being here.
I got to meet him at Worldcon.
I was gonna say, I think
really
I saw
awesome.
a picture of you guys. Yeah. He seems like a great guy. I mean, I've talked to him on Beast Friends Forever and on the socials. So I'm sure in person he's even more lovely. So talk about that for a second. How did that go for you? Have you been to big cons like that? To just because we talked before and you were excited to be able to just go and get to enjoy it as like a fan and a reader and not like have like a table and all that stuff. So you had a good time?
Yes, it was so much fun meeting people, and I actually was on one panel about building indie author communities.
Oh, yeah, nice.
I was terrified ahead of time because like I'd never done that, and guess what? I'm doing it at Worldcon,
right?
But it went really well. So
good. I'm not surprised. I had no doubts it would go well. But that's pretty awesome. How long did your panel go? Because I feel like I'm always interested. It was
about an hour.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Did you do it with some other authors or people, or were you on it by yourself?
Palmer Pickering was the moderator, and there were 3 other people, and I am not remembering their names.
That's okay. Okay, so it's a pretty good sized group. So you didn't have to have the spotlight on you constantly, at least.
Yeah, which was good because I probably would have like melted under the table or something.
Well, well done. That's pretty awesome. Pippin Took is here. What's up, man? Joe is everywhere, it seems. All right. So in a second here, we're going to switch gears, talk about your journey into writing and everything that you have going on. But before we do that, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you enjoy really bad dad jokes?
Yes, my husband is a dad joke.
Okay, person. Okay. I got a couple for you. They're really bad. So be prepared. All right. First one is why can't you hear a pterodactyl go to the bathroom?
I don't know.
Because the P is silent. For anyone that's not sure, pterodactyl is spelled with a P at the beginning, but it's silent.
I do approve of dinosaur jokes, though. I love dinosaurs. Good.
All right, and then I found one I thought was pretty good, a good sci-fi one, because I knew we'd be talking about Wraith. So, did you know that Captain Kirk has 3 ears? He does. It's true. He's got the left ear, the right ear, and the final front ear. But nailed it. Those are both good. Come on. Oh man, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So let's talk about your journey into writing. So just take us back to when you were younger. And this, I like to give you a chance to talk about 2 different things. One, what inspired you to get into the fantasy sci-fi world? You know, were there books that you read, TV shows, movies, all the above? And then when did you get into writing? And then eventually, when did you decide, I'm going to write a book? I'm going to go for it. So just walk us through that journey a little bit.
So in terms of inspiration, it's probably a few things. I remember one of my favorite movies as a kid was The Neverending Story.
Oh, nice. Me too.
I loved that movie. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I just fell in love with that whole thing. And then when I was 10, it was my 10th birthday, my dad gifted me The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings. It was a box set. I
Nice.
don't have that exact set anymore because they got ruined at one point, but I have gotten replacements. And I think that was probably the first fantasy I ever read was The Hobbit. It took me a few more years before I got into The Lord of the Rings because that's
Oh yeah.
a tougher
That's oh yeah.
read
That's a
than The
beast.
Hobbit
Yeah,
was. But
for sure. Yep.
yeah, so that was my dad's doing, getting me into
Nice.
reading fantasy. As far as writing goes, I think I fell in love with it almost as soon as I knew I could write. Because I remember in elementary school, I used to keep a notebook and I just write random stories. Most of them were just complete nonsense. Like I remember writing about a paper airplane once, and I don't know why, but I would just like write random stories. It wasn't until I think I was 13 when I wrote this. I call it, the book was called The Space Bandits, but that
Ooh.
was where Wraith started.
Okay.
And I wrote it over summer break that year from school. And the only person who ever read that was my brother.
Okay.
He's probably the only one that will ever read it. um,
Was he really nice about it?
He was. I mean, he's my younger brother, so I think at the time anything I was doing, he was just like,
Oh
"Oh,
yeah.
this is great,"
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
I look back at, I still have, it was all handwritten because we didn't have a computer at the time in the house. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm old. Um,
I'm the
but
same way. I remember when we got our first computer, so I know what you mean.
um, but I still have some of the handwritten stuff somewhere. And like I've looked at it every once in a while. I was like, oh yeah, this is bad. But I liked that character. Like
Hmm.
Soren, who is in Wraith, is one of the characters that was originally in the Space Bandits. Um, Xylar Inc. was part of that story. Not to the extent it is in Wraith, but there was little pieces I stole from that, and then I wrote other stories I never finished for years and years, and there's other pieces I stole from those to add into Wraith. It really feels like it was a conglomeration of, I don't know, probably 10 different
Oh,
projects.
yeah, a lot of different things. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Josh from Already Over Book popped in here. I know
Oh,
you were on the
hi.
channel not too long ago. Hey, Josh, thanks for being here. Um, and Tim said, "So when can we expect a 500-page story about paper airplanes?" I you need to mix
Probably no time in
you need to
the
mix
near
space
future.
bandits and paper airplanes together. Yes, there we go. Oh man, that would be something. So when you first decided to write your first book, when you were thinking about publishing, did you ever consider traditionally publishing, or were you kind of all indie? Okay, how did that?
Yeah, I queried for a while. The first books I was really considering publishing was the Kayan Legacy, Exile, and I was querying that for a couple years. Um, while I was going through that process, I was looking at various things, and I decided, well, I'll publish Hunted because it's technically too long for their accepted word count.
Mm-hmm.
They have all those rules about
Oh yeah,
submissions, especially if you're not known.
right.
So I published Hunted, and then I ended up publishing the Relics of War series after that because I figured we'll test this series and see how things go. And when that one started to get some traction, I was like, you know what? I can do this. And that's when I contacted Jamie again and I was like, hey, do you want to do some more covers for me? I'm going to go ahead and publish this one myself. So
That's awesome. Was it like when you made that decision, was it like a weight lifted off your shoulder and you were excited, or was it more nerves, or was it just a mixture of both?
it was probably both. Like, I
Yeah.
was relieved that I was finally going to be able to share this story because, like, Exile was a really, I don't know, all of my books are special to me, I
Right.
guess. But, it was one of those I was like, I really, really want this one to have people read it. It was meaningful, and so I was relieved in that sense that it was going to be out. But then I was terrified because I was just like, it's different than my other books that I've published so far. Are people
Yeah.
going to like it?
Right.
And I'm just questioning myself about all of those things. And then it ended up that series became the more popular one. I
That's
still
it.
think it's because of the dragon, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
Well, I mean, that probably catches people's eye, but I mean, I feel like it's very inventive and different that it's with like a shapeshifter into a dragon. Like that's pretty awesome. I feel like that's pretty marketable. That's awesome, I think. But I think all of your things are. I mean, just looking at that cover, seeing a scorpion dude, like that's pretty pretty awesome too. And then Wraith, like I just think you have awesome ideas, and I've been reading
Thank
Wraith,
you.
so I know your writing is great. So I think the sky's the limit for you, my friend. Just keep doing what you're doing. Um, all right, so that's pretty awesome. So what is so Wraith was the last thing. What are you working on next? What's your next project?
In terms of publishing, I think it's going to be my duology, but it probably won't be till 2027.
Okay.
Just because I'm not ready. I'm still writing the second book. I'm really close to the finish line, so
Okay.
I'm excited about that.
That is
It is another different thing for
okay.
me. It's a cozy fantasy sort of rom com
Oh, okay.
with a ghost hunting team,
Oh,
and the
okay.
main
That sounds
character
good.
is a ghost.
Oh, that sounds
So
awesome.
yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Okay. You've got me intrigued. I actually honest admittance here. I love rom-coms. I don't care what anybody says. I used to work at a video store in my college years, and I love the rom-coms. They don't make rom-coms like they used to, not like they did back in the early 2000s. So I'm all in. Mix some horror stuff with cozy and rom-coms. Ooh, that sounds good to me. So that's got to be a big change though when you've been writing like action and fantasy and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And now
it's
you're
definitely different from all of my other stuff. When I started writing the first book, that one, the idea came about because we were watching some Irish ghost hunter show around Halloween a few years
yeah.
ago. And like, I'm kind of a skeptic about all of that. My husband's watching it, and I was just like, what if I came up with a story where like the ghosts were actually real and
Mm.
like you could see them, and then it just kind of built from there. But at the time I was going through some health issues, and I think I was looking for something to distract myself. So it ended up being this like cozy rom-com with some humor and stuff, and like I needed that for
Mm.
me. I did send that first book to a few people to beta read a few months ago. A couple of them are romance authors, which I don't usually. I haven't had to approach people like that for my books previously.
Yeah.
um, but I've had pretty good feedback, so I'm like, okay, I think we've got something here.
Woo. Very cool. That's cool that that's how it came about. I'm always like that with those shows too, because it's like, unless I'm there physically, like, they could be doing anything with effects and like,
Yeah.
especially nowadays. But
Well,
but
and
they're
the
still
thing
fun
that
to watch.
always gets me is like the camera will be pointing one direction and somebody will be like, "Oh, over there."
Oh
And by
yeah.
the time they turn around with the camera, there's
Oh yeah.
nothing. And I was
Yeah.
like, "Okay, so I really want to play around with this." And having the
Mhm.
main character be a ghost was a lot of fun because, like, every once in a while he'll just like move things or do stuff.
Oh yeah. Do all the things that we have come to expect from that kind of thing. That's awesome. That sounds like a blast. So you're almost done with the second book, you said?
hmm
Wow. So when did you start working on this project?
Uh, it was probably fall of 2023.
Okay. Oh wow. So how do you ever work on different projects at the same time?
I
Okay, so
can't I
so the
can't
Wraith
do that.
so Wraith was done before you started that one?
hmm
Wow. Okay. So you got like a schedule now. You're like
Yeah,
you published
I
11 books. You got
write
this down.
my process. I don't know if this is normal or not, but this is what works for me. But like, I'll draft something and then I'll set it aside for a while and then I'll write something else.
Yeah.
And that usually takes me 6 or 7 months on average
Hmm.
to write the something else. And then I'll go back to the first project and I'll like go through it and revise it because it's usually something so different that giving myself that break, I'm able to find issues easier.
Hmm.
And then, after that, then I'll usually send it to beta readers and I'll work on something else. And after the other thing is done, then I'll revise again and then eventually it'll go to my editor. And, so it's like, it's a really long process, I think, compared to what some people do, but it is what seems to work out okay for me.
Hmm. Hey, it's working. I would say it's working great. You're rocking it. And Timothy Wolf, I feel you, man. I thought I was the only one that watched that show and felt that way.
Yeah.
There's so many seasons. They never find Bigfoot, and they always get you hyped up. You see the preview, and they're like, all this crazy stuff's happening, and you're like, oh, but nothing ever happens. That's so true. Well, that's awesome. That's cool. You have got some awesome things in the pipeline. You've got all these awesome books out already. Like, congrats on all of that. I think that you're doing a fantastic job. And I think as somebody, Tim is in all caps saying 12 seasons, not messing around about this. But as somebody myself who is an aspiring author and all the other people that are interested in getting into it too, like, that's inspiring to us to see somebody work hard, get stuff done like that, all while having a life and having a job and all of those things. It's pretty impressive. So you should pat yourself on the back while I give you another round of applause. If I can get used to where this is, almost there. There. Nice job. Well done. All right. So next up, I got some questions about your writing process. I always like to ask when you're focused writing, working on something. I just have some questions to kind of pick your brain on. But before we do that, every day I do a question of the day on my channel, and I like to ask my guests what they would answer. So today's question of the day was, here it is. Why do you love reading the most? So the options were for the escapism, for an escape, to learn and grow through your reading, purely just entertainment, or something else. What would your answer be?
For me, it's escape. I like to just get lost in a different world, which is probably why I gravitate towards fantasy and sci-fi so much.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. I agree because it is entertaining, but it's not just. I don't just read because it's entertaining. Same thing. I love that escape. Turn your brain off, get away from the real world, be somewhere else with, be someone else, which is pretty cool. That reminds me. Before I ask these questions, I know that Wraith is first person, and then in your Kane with the or not Kane, the other one with multi POVs. That's third person.
Yes.
Do you what's your new one gonna be? Is it okay for me to ask?
The duology is first person.
Ooh,
I
okay.
I kind of go back and forth.
Yeah.
I've been working on the Major Chronicles for like 5.5 years now. I have no idea when I'm going to be done with that series, but that's all in third person. So I bounce back and forth between the two.
That's cool. I love that. And I love that you're able to do it because I love the main character's voice in Wraith, like as first person. So I'm excited to see how you do third person. But when you talked about the ghost one, I'm like, oh, I hope it's first person because she does it so well. So, okay, awesome. Cool. All right. So, first question that I like to ask, there's a spectrum for writers where one side is a pantser who sits down and just goes, never outlines, never plans, versus a plotter who everything is plotted out, outlined. They have a novel of outlines that they stick to and do not stray, no matter what the characters tell them to do. Where do you fall in that? Do you feel like you're always in the same area, one way or the other, in the middle, or has it changed from book to book or over time? I always am interested to know where do you fall with that?
So a long time ago, I never used to outline, and I would just start writing a story and see where it went, and I never finished anything.
Yeah.
So I stopped just running with stuff because I would never finish anything. And I do. So there was another author that called it milestone writing.
Okay.
And so it's a outline, but it's just bullet points of things that I want to hit
Oh, yeah, I
throughout
like
the
that.
story.
Okay.
But it's not super in depth. So
Yeah.
every once in a while, like a character will decide to do something that I wasn't expecting, but I can run with it as long as I still can get to that next bullet point.
I like that. Okay. That was my next question. Have you had like a character or an event that you thought was going to happen, but then it completely changed because the character spoke to you or needed to do this, or you thought, well, now that I've written them, that's not what they would do, and it changed a bunch of stuff. You've had that. Have you had that happen in all your books? Okay.
Not all of my
Okay.
books. Probably the most notable instance was in the Relics of War.
Okay.
Raven's story arc included a character named Adeline, and initially she was not supposed to be that important of a character, but things happened and she became like a fixture in his story arc.
Oh, wow.
So I ended up having to rewrite part of my outline to accommodate what was going on with her.
Wow. Okay. That's cool. So I'll remember that when I read that one. That's pretty neat. Okay. Um, Next question. When you're working on a book and you know kind of when you want it to come out, are you someone that's like, I'm going to write as much as I can every day, whenever it works? I'm not going to worry about weekly or daily goals. I'll just get it done in time. Or do you set weekly or daily or monthly goals to make sure that you stay on track?
I don't usually schedule anything to be published until I've revised it at least twice.
Smart. Smart.
I don't like feeling that pressure,
Yeah.
and I know
Yep.
it works for some people, but like I can't do it.
Right.
So what I do is like I try to write something every day, but if it's just like if I'm forcing myself to get words out, I know it's usually not going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
So like on those days, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to write a blog post. Just do something short,
Yep.
different.
Yep.
And then like the next day I can come back, oh, okay, I can get like 5 pages done of the novel. So like I've learned I can't force myself because I'm usually not happy with the result if I do.
That's smart. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I feel like you have to enjoy writing, right? Because if
Mhm.
it becomes something that you're stressed about, you're never going to want to do it. So I think that's a good way to do it. Greg GJ Terrell is here, another awesome author. What's up, man? You are not late, my friend. You can pop in anytime. You know that. We're always happy to see you. So welcome. Next question. When you're writing, are you a creature of habit? Do you like to write at the same time of the day? Do you have certain places you like to write, like in your office or in a certain chair or outside or at a coffee shop? Do you have any like gotta haves when you're writing?
Um, I do a lot of my writing in the morning before I go to work because I have a short window of time between when my husband leaves and when I have to leave.
Oh,
So it's
nice. Okay.
quiet.
Yeah.
Most of the time I need tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, but yeah, I do most of my writing actually right where I am now. My
Okay.
laptop's here, my desk is here,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
books are here. I've got like the
You got the
atmosphere.
feel. Yeah. Yep.
So
Okay. Nice. Very cool. Sorry, my youngest is asking me if she can have chips. She's a chip fiend. Forgot what I was going to ask next. Okay, I remember. Okay, so you have different genres that you've written. When you're writing things and you need to come up with something that you don't know a lot about and you have to do some research, Nowadays, you can Google almost anything, but is that the only thing you do, Google, or have you gotten some books to look up stuff for your own novels, or talk to people in your life that you know that might know something about it? What are some ways you've researched other than Google, or if you just use Google, that's okay too.
So I know you've read part of Wraith, but some of my other books, I get into like some of the biology of other creatures.
Okay.
And I still have some of my textbooks from school that
Oh,
like
nice.
I'll go back to if I need to look at something like with Wraith, the Botanari people, because they are basically plants. Like
Mhm.
I'm like, I don't remember any of my plant biology. So I was,
Right.
going back to the textbook and looking at some of that stuff.
Well, that's cool.
I do research quite a bit of stuff online as
Okay.
well.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, you can do so much, and with
yeah,
like an AI like prompt thing for looking things up. Like, gosh, I'm trying to think of the one I've used before for Magic School, or I mean, even Gronk on X. You can look up stuff so quick. But yeah, it's crazy. So, what kind of stuff have you looked up online?
Um, so with Wraith, I found NASA has a exoplanet database, and it has all this great information about the star system. If it has planets in the habitable zone of the star system that they found,
Oh
and I
wow,
used that a lot to actually base the planets in Wraith
that's cool.
based on that database. Um, One of my favorite things that I researched when I was writing Serpentis, the main character uses warhammers, not the massive, like overly
Yeah, yeah,
big fantasy type, but like the traditional style warhammer. And
cool.
I didn't really know much about that, but the Smithsonian Channel on YouTube has
Mhm.
some really great videos on
Ooh.
how they were made, how they were used, how deadly they are,
Oh
how much
wow, that's
damage they can
awesome.
do to plate armor. Like, I
That's
was
so
watching
cool.
some of that one day. My husband comes home from work and he's like, "Should I be afraid?"
Why are you looking up these weapons of destruction for? Oh man, that's awesome. I got to look those up because I remember back when like the History Channel first came out and got big. Like I used to love watching things like that where they would test, weapons from fantasy books and from medieval times to see what they could really do. That was always so interesting. So that's
Forged in
cool.
Fire. Like, I'll watch that sometimes for
Oh yeah.
weapon stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah. 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 Yes, that is cool. That's awesome. All right. And then the last question I like to ask is, when you're writing, do you like it to be quiet, or do you like background noise? Do you like music? Does it have to be non-lyrical, or instrumental? What about background noise?
um, like I can do with quiet, and if it's non-music, so there's a reason for this too. If it's non-music background noise, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
But so back in my high school and early college days, I was doing a lot of music. I played the flute.
Oh
I was
wow.
in,
Okay.
band and orchestra and stuff. And at one point, I was considering being a music performance major,
Wow.
and that changed. But I have a habit of when I'm listening to music, I'll start like analyzing things and
Oh
really
yeah.
listening to the different layers and stuff, and then I get distracted. So I can't write to music because I will distract myself.
Yeah, that's I could see that if you're a big music head, like yeah, that's gonna be a little distracting. That's cool though. That's pretty awesome. What was your what all instruments did you know how to play?
I played the flute. That
Oh,
was
just the
it.
flute?
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool though. The flute does not look easy to me. So that's pretty impressive. That's cool. Do you still have a flute?
I do. I haven't played it in probably 7 or 8 years now, though. Like,
Oh
but I
wow. So
still have it. I
okay.
might get it out at some point. I don't
Yeah.
know,
All
but
right. When that your homework is before the ghost book comes out, and I have you back on to promote that, I want you to be ready to play a flute song for us. You heard it here, people. Let me shout out a couple more people that have popped in here. We've got Mr. E.L. Montague. What's up, my friend? Nice to see you. And of course, we've got Mark from the Book Lounge. What's up? And I missed him in here earlier, but John Stevenson's here. What's up, John? Thanks for being here, everybody. Oh, here you go. Adam knows what's up. Flute stream. Oh man! All right.
I can't promise it would be any good because I am so out of practice.
I'm sure if you were thinking about like going into like performing, then I'm sure even if you haven't done it for a few years, you'd sound good. You definitely sound better than any of us that have never played the flute. So we wouldn't know if it didn't sound good. All right. So next up, I got some questions for you for us to get to know you outside of writing. But before we do that, I always like to play a little game of 1 minute mysteries. Do you feel like you're ready for this? You got your detective hat on?
Sure.
All right. So I'm going to read you this. It's more like a riddle than it is like a mystery. But people in the chat, beasties, if you want to shout out to help AJ out, feel free. But here we go. So you walk into a room with only one match. You must light a lantern, a gas stove, the pilot light of a water heater, and a fire in the fireplace. What do you light first?
Is there anything else in the fireplace? Or am I allowed to ask questions?
You can ask, yeah, you can ask questions. I don't think so. We don't know. They don't tell us that information.
Okay.
Let me know if you need me to read it to you again.
Yeah, read it again.
Okay. You walk into a room with one match, only one match. You must light a lantern, a gas stove, the pilot light of a water heater, and a fire in the fireplace. What do you light first? Greg, GJ, has an idea. He says the match. Ellen agrees. So do you want to go with that as the answer?
Yes, that is like the obvious one. Yes.
That is the answer. It is the match. So Greg, well done. AJ, well done. We get another round of applause. Done, team. Teamwork makes the dream work. That's what I say. Nice job. I know that was a tricky one, wasn't it? I always read them because the answers are in a different spot. So I always read it and then try to figure it out. That one, I was like, I got to look at the answer. And then I saw his match. I'm like,
yeah.
Because I was trying
if my husband had been the one answering the question, he would have known it right away. Because he's the one who always gives me like the really obvious, silly answers when they're asking questions.
Oh yeah, I always overthink things. I was like, all right, what would I light that would not use the whole flame so that I could go to the next one?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I know. They word it on purpose like that. Tricky. All right. First question. We'll start with an easy one to get you warmed up here. What is your favorite color?
Green.
Oh, okay. No hesitation. Green is it. Has it always been green? And is there a reason why? Or do you just like green?
I just like green. Okay. I like plants too, so maybe that's where it came from.
Yep, that makes sense. Nice. All right. Is it all shades of green or like a certain kind of green?
Most shades of green, I think. Okay.
As long as they're not like starting to get a little too blue or something. Although the greenish blue in some of your covers looks pretty good. All right, very nice. What about favorite food? If you got to pick what your family was having for dinner and no one could complain, what are you picking?
Homemade mac and cheese.
Ooh, I like that. That is good. That is good.
Not from the box, like from scratch.
Right, from scratch. Do you make that, or does
every once in a while?
Oh, okay. So, do you feel like yours is better than you would get it at a restaurant somewhere?
Probably not.
I'm sure it is.
I think it's good, but like,
oh man, once you have homemade mac from scratch like that, it's hard to have like the box stuff. Man. All right, very cool. Next question. You kind of already answered this one, so we'll have to see if I'll allow the flute as it. But I usually ask, what's a hobby or a talent that you have that we don't know about? So unless you have one like right off the top of your head, we can count the flute because that's pretty cool. Although you said you haven't played in a few years, so
yeah, I haven't played.
I don't know
in
if we
a
can
few
count
years.
it anymore.
I do like to scuba dive. I mean, I
Ooh,
mentioned
that's
that
cool.
elsewhere, but not everybody knows that.
No, that's cool. How often do you do that?
It's been a while since I was able to go. We usually
Yeah.
have to take a vacation because I live in Colorado. It's a landlocked
Oh
state.
yeah.
Uh, there are places you can dive here, but the water's cold, and I
I
don't
was gonna
like
say it's
it
probably
cold.
pretty cold. Yeah. How old were you when you first got into that?
Um, my husband and I got certified in 2016.
Oh wow.
So
Okay. So it's been a good
yeah,
almost 10 years. That's pretty cool. What's the coolest place you've gone scuba diving?
I think it was the wreck of the Keith Tibbets off of Cayman Rock. It's this old Russian warship that they sunk on purpose to make an artificial reef. And it still has some of like the gun turrets and stuff that you can swim past, but it's all like crusted over with corals and
Yeah.
sponges. It was really a really cool dive.
Wow. That is cool. Have you ever seen anything scary when you were doing dives?
We saw a hammerhead shark once.
Ooh,
It was so cool.
cool. Weren't you scared though? Was it far away or did it
it
notice
it
you?
was like up above us.
Above you?
Yeah, and it just like swam over the whole group of
Oh
divers. It
gosh.
it like didn't care that we were there. It was
Yeah.
really neat.
Oh man. Do they like are those scuba things like strong where you feel like if a shark tried to bite you, you'd be okay? Or they go right through it? You'd be in trouble.
I think I'd be in trouble if a shark tried to bite
Gosh.
me.
You're brave. If I saw that, it would be like in those shows when it's like, and I'd be freaking out trying to get out of there, pulling on the line. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, very cool. All right, we might have to do an underwater flute playing stream. I think we'll have to do. We'll have to figure that out. That may be hard with the scuba gear, but we'll figure it out. Awesome. All right, now you got to put your thinking cap on and go back in time. What was your first job you had that you got a paycheck for?
I worked at Sam's Club as a cashier.
Oh, okay. Nice. I bet you have some very fond memories of customers at that job.
It was my motivation for getting through college because I didn't want to work retail anymore.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, retail can be rough. Man, and that's like it's busy there, like nonstop as a
Hmm.
cashier. Like it's not like at a department store where every once in a while that it's kind of a lull. There's no one, you're waiting around. Like I feel like Sam's Club, Costco, like it's just nonstop people coming.
Hmm.
Oh man, how long did you work there for?
About 4 years. It was basically through my whole
Yeah,
college.
they probably paid
So
pretty decent at the time, because
it
I
paid
feel
my
like now they
rent.
pay pretty well.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's at least they paid good. But man, yeah, I'm glad. I'm sure you're glad to get out of there.
yeah.
Okay, very cool. Next question: what was your first car? Do you remember what was your first ride?
The first car I owned was a 1991 Ford Explorer. It
Ooh,
was a manual. I had to learn how to drive it over the weekend,
over the
basically.
weekend.
Yeah, it was my senior year of high school, and
Wow.
my dad was like, "Well, we have this car we can get for you, but you have to learn how to drive the manual."
Oh dang.
So I drove it around the block like over and over and
Yeah.
over.
You're like I'm figuring this out so I can get that car. What color was it? Do you
It was
remember?
white.
I don't know why I always say, "Do you remember?" Obviously, you remember. Uh, I like to try to look up a picture of it just to see if it brings back memories here. All right, this one. This is a pretty good view here. Did it look something like this? Come on. Wait, there we go.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
there it is. This picture, AJ and that playing the flute out the window, scuba gear in the back seat. Although you weren't scuba diving then, but
No,
still.
that was a long time ago.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty awesome first car though. Now, were you in Colorado then? Did you grow up in
Hmm.
Colorado?
Yep.
I know I grew up in Michigan, and I know there with like the winters and the salt and everything, like white car would look really dirty in the winter. Is it like that in Colorado too?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Did you wash it a lot, or because I feel like in the winters I just would give up and be like, nah,
I
it
was
smells nice.
really
I'm not.
bad about washing my car in the winter to the point
Yeah.
that like my dad used to tease me that if I washed it, it would fall apart because the dirt was holding it together.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Oh man, that's good stuff. Yeah, it happens sometimes. It happens sometimes. Oh, that's awesome. And yes, Cinna is in Colorado too. That's right. Uh, all right. Next question. What are some TV shows and movies that some of your favorites, or some that you've watched recently?
I don't watch a lot of TV usually, but some of my favorites. I really got into the X-Files when I was younger. I
Oh yeah,
liked
that was good.
Farscape a lot.
Oh, I love Farscape.
Um, Trying to think of what else. The Office.
Oh, you're speaking my language. Farscape and The Office. Oh, and X-Files. Yes, please, all three. Those are three of my favorites too. Oh, so good. Are you gonna watch the what's it called? The Paper? That
I've
new
been
one?
thinking about it. I haven't done it yet.
Me neither. I was gonna watch it on NBC, but then I found out it's only on Peacock streaming or whatever.
Oh, and I don't have that one.
I don't either, and I'm like, oh, another streaming thing. It's like, man, when they first went to streaming, it was so cool to like save money, but now you
Mhm.
gotta have a streaming for every single channel, and it's like now it's more cheap to do cable. It's crazy. All right, awesome. What about video games? Have you ever been a gamer or been into video games?
Yep,
Nice.
I haven't been playing much the last little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But some of my favorites, I really liked the BioWare games like Dragon Age and Mass Effect.
Yes.
Fun fact, when J. Caleb was designing the cover for Wraith and the Revolution, I was like, can you kind of make it like the N7 armor, but green? Because there's a reason why it's green.
Oh, well, besides it being your favorite color? Oh, that's awesome. You know, I can see that now. Let's hold this up close so people can be like, oh, yeah. Look at that. That is so cool. That's crazy. He did a good job then. So, did you beat all the games in Mass Effect?
Yes.
Nice.
I played the ending of the third game I don't know how many times before I realized that you can't.
Nothing you do can see.
I know. Like, but I don't want this to happen.
I know. I actually have never beat the third game for that reason because I had it spoiled for me, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna do it. But I did get the remastered collection, so now I'm like, I kind of want to go through and play them all again, remastered. That would be fun. And Dragon Age is awesome. I only played the first one though. I gotta play some more of those because those are cool games. So that's awesome. What was your console then? Were you console or PC?
Both.
Nice.
I still have my PlayStation 2.
Oh, that's so cool. I have a PS2.
Played a lot of Final Fantasy games, and
oh, heck yeah.
I liked Ratchet and Clank a lot.
Yes, that's such a fun game.
Spyro, that one was
heck
fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Awesome. Yep, I was a PlayStation junkie too. I had them all. I wish I would have kept my PS2. That's pretty fun. I've got a PS3, 4, and 5, but I wish I still had the 1 and 2. I've got a gosh, what was it called? The little handheld one. A Vita, PS Vita. I've still got that too.
Oh wow.
Pretty cool. But yeah, a lot of people loving these games we're talking about. Ellen says Dragon Age is their favorite game, so you're and Adam also loved Mass Effect. I hear you. Thomas Howard Riley is here. What's up, man? Thanks for being here. It is. I agree. Oh yeah, Sly Cooper. Those games were cool. Did you ever play those?
I did not.
Oh yeah, they were great on PS2. And yes, Spyro was great. If you like Spyro, you would definitely like Sly Cooper. It was very had a animated look, so it just looked really good. Like it looked like a cartoon, like you were playing a cartoon.
Oh, fun.
It was pretty awesome. But no problem, man. We're just glad you're here. All right. Movies, TV shows, games. Let's bring it back to books. So 2 questions. Well, actually, 3 questions.
Okay.
First one, you write so many books and you're always focused on writing, which is awesome. But I know that you still find time to read a lot because you do awesome reviews. So how do you balance reading and writing, doing so much of both, plus being a normal person functioning in society?
So like I said earlier, my writing time I usually do in the morning, like before I go to work, and then sometimes more on the weekend. When I'm reading, that's what I do on my lunch break at work.
Oh, okay.
I don't usually take my laptop or anything, my personal laptop to work because it's just like another thing I have to carry around. But a book, you know, and I have to do something on my lunch break, and it gives me a chance to get away from whatever's going on in the lab. So
That's awesome. So your secret is just keeping them separate. And
yeah,
just
yeah.
having routine. I love that. That's very cool.
But I've always been a reader, so
Yeah. So it's just part of your DNA. It's not like you have to figure out how to make it work. You're gonna make it work because you want to.
yeah.
That's cool. You do so many reviews. I have wondered, like, do you plan to try to read so many books per month or anything, or do you just read whenever and whatever you get done, you get done?
Yeah, it's pretty much whatever I get done, I get done. I do, like if I have an ARC that's gonna release soon, I try to prioritize those. And then last month was the first time WRAITH did their book club, and I contacted Bill Adams a while back about this book club idea I had, and I didn't know that they had been talking about doing one already. So that it just kind of all worked out. So I'm trying to do the book club books as well.
That's cool.
And then whatever extra time I have, I'll read other books if I have time.
Nice. Okay. Do you read anything outside of like fantasy, sci-fi, all that? Do you read other stuff too? What's some of your favorite other genres?
I do read horror every once in a while. Sometimes nonfiction, not a lot, but every once in a while I'll read something that's nonfiction. But yeah, I think mostly it's sci-fi and fantasy.
Very cool. Okay. Who are some of your favorite authors or favorite books or series that you've read?
Oh, I think this is probably a really common answer, but The Lord of the Rings, and a lot of that does go back to my dad introduced me to the genre with that series, and it's one of the few series that I've read more than once. I don't reread that often.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you found? Did you read Lord of the Rings all the way through before you watched any of the movies? Okay, because I read it like when I was younger, and I feel like I just kind of like skimmed it because it was I was younger, and then I watched the movies, and then I went back and read through them and actually listened to them on audio, which they're awesome audiobooks. But yeah, that's pretty cool. That's interesting. I feel like it's a common answer, but for a good reason, because it's just such a special story for so many people for so many reasons. But it's also just, I feel like it's a great thing to always look back on, probably as a writer, because there's so much you can pick out from there, But that's very cool. All right, what was the last thing you read?
The last thing that I finished reading was actually by Thomas Howard Riley, and it was The Light of Casaban. Hopefully I said that right. It was a really good story. That was for our book club. I'm currently reading this novella, It's a ARC I have, so I need to get that one done before the end of the month.
Nice. All right. Very cool. Well, that's it. You survived. You got through all the questions. And he did a great job. So we'll probably wrap it up here. Thank you so much for coming on. This has been so much fun.
Thank
I can't believe
you.
it's already been an hour. It feels like we've been
Oh,
talking
it
for
has,
5 minutes.
hasn't it?
I know. It's crazy. It's wild. Oh, and Thomas said thank you, by the way. And I saw that review. It was a very good one. But thank you for coming on. I just think you're awesome, and congrats on all the books and all the success. And I'm excited to be a part of this journey with you, as we all are, to see what you come out with next, especially now that we know what's coming next. That sounds pretty exciting. So you are welcome on here anytime, or anytime you need my help with anything, just let me know and I'll be there. So I appreciate it. You're welcome. Before I go into my ending thing, I would love to give you the floor to shout out, share, talk about anything you want before we take off.
I don't know what I want to talk about. Just thank you again for having me on. Thank you, everybody that's in the chat, for coming and being part of this. And, you know, I appreciate everybody who takes an interest in my books, and, you know, even just liking my posts or whatever on social media. It means a lot just to know that people care and I have that support. So.
Very nice. You do. People care, because there's a lot of people here. And super chat. Thank you, Cinna. We appreciate that. It was a fun chat. So thank you so much. Thank you, Beasties, in the live chat. You guys were awesome. If you're watching this on replay, thank you. We appreciate you. Have a great evening. I'll be back with more Beast Runs Forever next week. But in the meantime, don't forget, in the description, go check out AJ's website and the books, and support them, because they deserve it. And because their books are awesome. I mean, look at this cover, and this one, and this one. Check them all out. They're awesome. So everybody have a great night. We'll see you in the next one. And until I do, as I always say, devour your TBRs, be brave, be beautiful to one another, and be beastly. We'll see you, everybody. Take it easy.